and welcome to Syrup Shots Gaming. I'm Tyler, and with me is Dave
Hey everyone, how's it going?
and Chris.
Hello, hello.
Apologies,
Alive.
we are alive.
Mhm.
COVID can't keep us down. None of us got COVID,
No.
but
We took an accidental summer break, is what happened.
yeah, my PC decided that it didn't like me anymore and committed seppuku.
Well, that's a polite way of yes, it committed harakiri on
Yeah,
itself.
yep.
Way to go.
But I got it fixed up. We're rocking and rolling again, and we're back here to talk video games, nerdy stuff, whatever we're feeling about. So let's start off with it's been a little bit. It's almost been since I think 4th of July weekend since we talked to everyone. What have you guys been playing?
I remember, ladies and gentlemen, we have tried to record at least twice since, and unfortunately, these were deleted in the great the ritual suicide of Tyler's PC. But we did try and record on 4th of July weekend, which will lead to probably a story later on in the podcast. What have we been playing? Okay, well, I can say that probably from if our viewers have been following along, the last game they probably remember me saying that I had been playing was Tokyo Mirage Sessions, which I did finish finally. And I will say I did enjoy it a lot. However, the problem is that I just, in the end, kept comparing it to Persona 5, and there's no comparison. Persona 5 is just obviously the better game. So I would say the plot was probably best described by my brother. I was telling it to him when I went to go see him in California over the summer, and after I got finished, so he just said, "So you're telling me that they had a Persona-themed episode of Glee featuring the cast of Fire Emblem?" Yeah, pretty much. I will say the story did start to get better by the end, but then that was the problem. It was the end. Whereas if it had been like Persona 5, the game was 60 hours long, which that would have been the halfway point for Persona 5. I would have loved to have seen them expand more on some of the, Fire Emblem issues, why the antagonists are the way they are, why that performances and singing and acting and all of this, why it was related to the energy of using it for summoning these beings from the Fire Emblem universe. They touch upon it lightly to give it a complete BS excuse, but and in the end, it didn't fit so well. Oh, we use
Because
song
MacGuffin.
yeah, because MacGuffin. We use song and dance to create the energy of Performa. And in Japan, because the original songs and dance were how we communicated with the gods. That's why they can take that energy. Well, okay then. You could have probably just said because magic, and I probably would have been like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I did enjoy I love the battle system. That was always fun. And I will admit, they're all J-pop songs, but there were times it's just like I'm sitting in my chair. Yeah, that's my jams. So afterwards, I decided to fall down the rabbit hole of sacrilege for some people. I decided to finally plug in and play The Last of Us 2. And I did manage to complete that also before I went back to work at the schools. So I
Now,
know.
real fast, before you say if you liked it or not, remember, if you say you liked it, chances are The Last of Us 2 Reddit is going to come after you and make false claims that your fans are creating death threats against the Last of Us 2 Reddit users.
Uh,
Oh man,
uh,
that was a mess.
oh, yummy! The tears of undeniable sadness. um, That was a train wreck, by the way. I love girlfriend reviews, so I watched that. And that was actually what inspired me to play the game because I'm like, what is the big twist that is so awful that people would get this stupid over? And now, having played the game, I can honestly say I have no idea why you are so butthurt. I will admit I really enjoyed the game. I did. I will admit I can understand why some people didn't. I can
Right.
understand, like some people's what they say. They they just don't like the character of Abby. I get that. It took me a while to get kind of used to her as well because it's just, man, that game starts off with a bang, quite
Sure.
literally. Um,
Sure.
I know
Thing.
some people are upset at a certain character's passing. I kind of expected that actually. Um, for me, though, the way I looked at the game was I ultimately saw it as a storytelling in extremism, and I felt it really well put, especially in kind of the world we seem to be living in today, in that we have like these two opposing forces. One is like extremist military, and the other one is extremist cult religion, and the two just want to kill each other. And I think that made the stories better. And it's just, throughout the game, and I'm just like, why are you idiots fighting each other? The real problem is you could do so much more together than you could apart, but your stupid petty squabbles are what's going to kill everything, you know?
Sure. Sure. It. I feel like it does a pretty good job of. It's a nice twist on the revenge tale. And the
Oh,
funny thing
yes.
about it is you don't actually know it until you're halfway through the game. And even then, at that point, you might be pissed off
Mm-hmm.
because the
Yeah.
game ends on a very kind of like sour or dour note. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost it's almost No Country for Old Men style of storytelling.
And honestly,
Without
I
without
will.
without without any spoilers, right? I
Yeah,
mean, it's a dark
yeah,
story.
it is a dark, and that's why I think I actually preferred the way it ended because Ellie ends up doing some horrendous, awful things in the game. And I think just, at the ending, that was also kind of maybe her personal come to Jesus moment. And it just perhaps got all a bit overwhelming. I've done all of these terrible things and no more. And I felt Abby's story also was starting to reflect that a bit because
Sure.
there was the character of Owen who, as I said, Abby and Owen are part of the military side called the Wolves, and he encountered one of the religious cultists that they've called the Scars, and it was an old man, Scar, who, he had him dead to rights, could have just put a bullet in him, and everything is telling him to do so. The leader of this militant group is nuts, and he just looks at the man, realize, he's so old, he's so over it, and even then, he just has his come to Jesus moment, and it's just, what am I even doing? I'm fighting for land I don't care about, and he doesn't do it. And then I think that's kind of
Sure.
Abby pulls a little from him, and that's why she has kind of this trying to save people arc because she
Sure.
does have a intimate relationship with this man, and it rubs off a bit on her. At least that's how I interpret it. I know some
Sure.
people
Well,
clearly had different opinions.
well, sure. There are some issues that I would take with some of the pacing of the game, but
Yeah.
in some respects, it's done on purpose, and
Hmm.
I get it. I appreciate it. I ultimately ended up liking the game. I don't know if I go so far as to say that I loved it.
Hmm.
Um, I think that it is definitely a technical masterpiece.
Oh yes.
Um, it is very beautiful. I really liked the. I think the gameplay of part two is much better than the
Hmm.
original. Which
And that's what's adding to me saying I love it.
yeah,
Did I prefer the story of the original? Yes, but the gameplay, the graphic fidelity, all that in added. That's why I can say, well, I love both of the games equal, pretty much, but for different reasons. Yeah.
Yeah. The second one is definitely a better video game in the sense of a game.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
I think the thing that's tearing people apart is the story, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh
It,
yeah.
and it seems to be pretty well, and that's the interesting thing. It's only polarizing in the player community because the
Mm-hmm.
critics loved it.
Oh yeah. And again, there's some stuff in there that I'm just kind of like, and it's just because, unfortunately, again, it goes along with my, it was a story about extremism for me. I mean, there is a LGBTQ element to the story, which I felt fit in perfectly as my reading of an extremist cult
Sure,
view of it. But
sure.
for some people who have that, mentality themselves, and it's just, well, of course you didn't like that part.
You know what though? The thing is, to those people, I say you missed the point of The Last of Us. The Last of Us is about outcasts and the
Mhm.
outsiders in society when the whole world falls down.
Apart, yeah, yep, exactly. Now, Tyler, have you played The Last of Us 2
I
yet?
have not. Now, I've
No.
also already seen a lot of the spoilers, so nothing you guys
Oh,
have
okay.
said have really affected me. I'm one of those guys where oftentimes spoilers don't spoil a game for me.
Hmm.
It's about how it gets to those emotional that really capture me versus the actual what it is.
And that was the
Hmm.
thing. I was just waiting for like the one moment that everyone was just like so, what was the big thing? And I'm just like, it really wasn't a big thing. It was just like, a bunch of small things that I guess, you either were positive or negative about. If you were negative on too many of them, you didn't like the game so much. So, but just the absolute hate and vitriol that it's just like, man, that's one of the bad things of the internet, and one of the good things.
Sure.
But and this goes back to a saying my father said because he worked in business for God knows how many decades, but he would be in charge of customer service, and it's just like people are 10 times more likely to complain about something than make a positive comment. So he goes, so really what you can average is for each positive comment, you can think there were 10 people who truly enjoyed it. But for every negative comment you get, that's only one.
It's a vocal minority.
Yeah,
It really is.
yep, yep. And to girlfriend reviews, I salute you for going through all of that BS. That what way
Uh,
to troll a troll. That was amazing.
yeah.
I wish I would have had that level of Conan Doyle, Sherlockian, foresight. But I would in a situation like that, I'd probably just end up sucking my thumb. The people are being mean to me on the internet.
Rule
Okay, I'm
one: don't
sorry.
read. Rule one: don't read the comments.
So that's what I've been playing. I haven't been able to play anything else because I pretty much tried to time that so it would end right as summer break was over. So this past week, it was the first week of school. Um, the students showed up Thursday, Friday, and I'll just say I will save the stories for later because they're not ending yet. But the students are very excited now for the esports club, and I have gotten so many emails. So many emails.
Emails for days.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, Chris, what have you been playing besides How to Raise a Child?
Yeah, so recently, or I shouldn't say recently, for Father's Day, my wife bought me a PlayStation 5. And I've
Woo!
been
Yep. Yep.
enjoying the crap out of that. So, oh geez. Okay, so I played Astro's Playroom, of course, because I had to.
Easiest
that was
platinum trophy ever.
that was a fun jaunt through PlayStation history. Definitely recommend it if you have a PS5.
Mhm.
Um, I platinumed Ratchet and Clank. Oh geez, why am I blanking on the name?
Rift Apart.
A Rift Apart.
Ripped apart.
Part.
That's the South Park ripoff game.
Yeah, it was great when I came to visit you, and we were talking about it, and you were telling me because I had never played the Ratchet and Clank, and I was just like, you were telling me all the games. I'm like, I love how all of these titles are double entendres. She goes, yeah, and the newest one is too, and I just ripped apart. Say it fast. Oh.
Yeah, that was that's a fun game, and it looks very beautiful on a 4K television set. Performance mode, ray tracing mode. If you're gonna play that game, it's amazing.
Because you also got a TV with the HDMI 2.1, right?
Yep. Actually, my new TV has 2 HDMI 2.1 ports. Yeah,
I'm
very
jealous.
nice.
I'm super jelly.
Yeah, no, it's great. Definitely recommend it. It's a showcase. At least I haven't played Returnal yet. From what I understand, that's another good showcase of the hardware. Because it is one of the few. There aren't very many exclusive PlayStation 5 games out there.
Just yet, yeah. Doug was showing me that does look pretty sweet, but I guess I'm in the time of my life though, where at the same time, one, I don't necessarily have to buy it on launch day, and two,
Mhm.
$70 for a game brand new is a lot.
See,
Thanks, Sony.
Hmm.
yeah, I got pretty lucky. The game bundle that came with the PS5 from GameStop included Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and then I have yet to play the other game. I have not played Destruction All Stars, even though I own it via PlayStation Plus, and I have a physical copy. Sorry, Lucid Games.
That's okay.
Isn't that
I don't think anyone has.
isn't that the game that's trying like so hard yet failing to be Twisted Metal?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. It's not Twisted Metal. It's like it's a destruction derby, like in an arena. I would have preferred Twisted Metal as
Hmm.
a longtime Twisted Metal fan. I would have much preferred that, and I would have played the crap out of that. But
Hmm. Yeah.
supposedly, there's a rumor. It's just a rumor. They have confirmed that a Twisted Metal TV show is supposed to come out. Yeah, I know, crazy, right?
Yeah.
But there's the rumor is that there might be a video game coming as well.
Oh, to go along with it,
That
that would
would
be good.
that'd be good synergy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. So
I kind of
I
love.
would love I would love me some Twisted Metal. They haven't
Mhm.
released a new game since like the PS3.
Yeah.
So
Now that's one though. It's just like I'm sitting here and you say TV show, and I'm like, the plot of that game, really? Because I'm like,
I
that it works because it's a video game. The plot, I don't know if it works well enough for like a TV show. That's why
it,
the Mutant
it
League Sports TV show never worked.
I think it would have to be a loose adaptation
Mm,
for it to work for a TV show. Um, I mean, Calypso is the holder of the tournament in the games, and he's basically has like genie powers without being trapped in a lamp.
mm,
And of course, the twisted irony is that he always grants people what they ask for, but it's not what they want.
His
mhm.
paw.
Monkey paw, monkey paw.
Exactly.
Uh,
And I've also platinum Spider-Man Miles Morales. So
oh,
those are.
okay.
Oh,
So
actually, no, and I finished War for Wakanda the other night.
Wow.
I
Oh, I
was
haven't even touched that.
I was going to ask you about War for Wakanda.
Yeah,
First
go ahead.
off, you are playing the PS5 version now, right?
I am. Yes.
Okay. Is it a considerable difference from the PS4 version?
Performance-wise, it's night and day.
Okay. Second question is: does Black Panther actually feel very different from the other characters, or is it a little bit more of the same?
So Black Panther plays like a mix of Black Widow and Captain America. Now, with that said, he is far more tactical than any of the other Avengers. It doesn't feel like, you're just doing, like special moves, this and that. You have to really, and a lot of that is some of they updated, that there are new enemies to fight that are considerably tougher.
Do they act very different from the other enemies? Because one of the things that I was concerned about was the lack of enemy variation.
Yeah, are they still robots?
No, most of the new enemies are actually humanoid. The robots are spiders in this
Oh,
one.
okay.
Yep.
Well,
And
at
they're
least that's
little
some variation.
they're little spiders and then big spiders. And the boss fights in the expansion were much better than in the original game, and that there's more traversal now.
Okay.
There's a lot more focus on platforming,
Oh,
oddly
okay.
enough. But for the creators, or not creators, but they used to make Tomb Raider games, dang
Hmm.
good Tomb Raider games.
Yeah.
They're pretty good at that. So.
Nice.
Any big names as the bosses that we would know, or?
So there are two villains that you fight in the War for Wakanda expansion: Ulysses Claw, of course,
Hmm.
and then Crossbones.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Nice.
good. I've been hoping for more villains because I was getting sick and tired of Taskmaster and Abomination clones.
Yeah. So back to what I was talking about with the being more tactical, is that there's more of a reason to use Black Panther's ranged attacks because they actually weaken the enemy.
Ooh.
They are his way for doing status effect damage. It's
Oh,
all in the
okay.
daggers.
I've got a
Yeah.
few. I've got a few more follow up questions. If you don't mind. Uh,
Shoot.
so the first one is kind of a smaller one. Have the weapon drops or the item drops gotten more significant or more unique, or are they still pretty generic? And I don't know if you've gotten into like the epic, Uber drop.
Yeah, I can't say that I have. I just finished the story expansion, and
Fair.
I've only dabbled in multiplayer, but my Black Panther's really not high level enough to really speak on that, and I haven't picked out one of my other characters to play with just because he's the new toy.
Right. That leads me to my second question. Do you feel like this expansion is enough to not only keep back in the game, but to bring other people back into the game
So
for the long term?
long term, hard to say. I think that I definitely want to keep playing it for the next couple months because they have expanded quite a bit of stuff. For one thing, I noticed, surprise, surprise, they must have must have expanded the level cap because there's a whole new tier of abilities for you to learn.
Ooh,
Oh,
hey,
yeah, very nice.
Yep. Also, a lot of quality of life improvements. You can mass delete gear.
oh
You
thank.
highlight it and send it to the trash. They significantly changed your character screen, so you can see all the stuff that you care about all on one screen instead of having to toggle through multiple screens.
Nice.
And you can do loadouts now.
Oh,
Ooh,
nice.
okay.
So,
I might have to run it back up and what's under the hood.
mhm.
I might need to get that PlayStation 5 first, though, so it actually loads on time.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. Maybe if I start now, it'll be ready to play tomorrow.
It's like Futurama and logging into AOL.
Right.
that's been the I mean, yes, PS5 certainly looks beautiful, but the performance boost is really, I think, the big change for this generation. It's wild to see how much faster games load.
Oh, yeah.
On the new machine. And Avengers is a perfect example of it because, I mean, there literally are no load times on PS5.
Nice. I guess I should get into what I've been playing, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing a little bit of a hodgepodge of things. Nothing in depth in one specific thing, just kind of jumping around.
Mm-hmm.
So I did play the Halo Infinite online multiplayer.
Okay.
Okay.
So first off, they have done something with that I don't think is being praised enough that should be. You now have the
Okay.
option for their multiplayer to play against bots.
Okay.
Okay.
So instead of just getting whooped online, you could actually set up a mission where it's just you and your buddies versus bots.
Oh.
And you can actually choose the difficulty. Another thing I like about it... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask a question, but
Sure.
are the bots like fun to play against? Or are they
Yes.
easy?
So they released different tiers throughout it. At first, they were pretty easy. Then they got pretty challenging there. They were actually very tactical with like when they would throw a grenade. They would kind of move back and forth, and that's the other thing that was kind of cool about it. The coding for how the AI play isn't built into the game itself. They have servers that analyze how humans play and adapt their AI based on that.
Interesting.
So it gets a more human feel. And they are saying right now that it people are just imagining it. They are not doing the tactical crouch.
Tactical crouch.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
Sure.
I remember that being called something else. It involves
Yeah.
involving tea.
Yeah. And a
Yep.
bag.
What everyone wanted to do at the tea party.
Exactly.
Boo.
Yeah. I get shame on my family for that.
Yep.
Couple
You
things are
dishonor us all.
what I do. Couple things I really liked about it, and this kind of goes back to the big thing with any video game. It's how it feels. In Halo Infinite, felt great. It was responsive. It was intuitive. And multiplayer was fair. You know me. I love Destiny, but but the PvP of Destiny has a fundamental issue where everyone has their own unique loadouts. Sometimes people get exotics that you haven't gotten that can just roll over you. With this, everyone's on the same playing field. Weapons are spread throughout the map. Weapons are greatly varied. The Needler, I had a lot of fun with. They have...
The Needler is a good weapon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that was how I got most of my kills. That and the... what was it? Oh, the Gravity Hammer. That was fun. Basically, it's just a giant hammer that you just bring the pain with. The visuals, I was playing on the Xbox One because my PC, which I'm looking at right now, decided to hate me. So it was playing at 30 frames a second, but it still looked good. It still felt good. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see what their actual story mode looks like. Me and Dave have talked about toying with the idea of playing through the Halo games at some point.
So we can lose our Halo virginity.
Right, exactly. I'm not sure if we should play through all of them or just do like a sampler night, just trying a few levels from each of them, and then just watch the plot.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had talked about going through at least the first game because, again, as I've said before, in our high school when Halo came out, everyone wouldn't shut up about it, but they couldn't tell you anything about it. It was just, multiplayer is great. Well, okay, but I like a little more meat, in my shooters. If I want to have like a fun multiplayer game, Smash Brothers covers that.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
So and from what I gather, because one of our buddies, Joel, he is big on the plot Halo, and he's actually pointed out a few things that have been really cool. Not in Halo 5. Halo 5 has been doo-doo, from what I understand, in terms of story. Their multiplayer was actually a lot of fun, but I've heard the
Sure.
story was.
Mhm.
So, yeah, as someone who played Halo 5, the mistake that they make there is that they divide. You play two different characters, and Master Chief is one of them. But you spend so much of that game not playing as Master Chief, and then it has this glorious cliffhanger ending at the very end.
Ugh.
Not to mention the fact that the campaign, it's pretty short and it doesn't really resolve the like primary MacGuffin issue.
Mm.
So what you're telling me is they tried to pull a Metal Gear Solid 2 but failed?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, some people still debate whether Metal Gear Solid 2 pulled a Metal Gear Solid 2 well.
I would say it did because the gameplay was still great enough to overcome that, and the overarching story, once it tied in with 3 and 4, I think.
Mhm. Yeah. It
Uh,
took a while, but once 4 came out, it's just like, oh, that's what they were doing in 2.
Yep,
Gotcha. Mhm.
yep.
And then in 5, you play as Venom Snake.
Through half the story, and then they
Yep.
fired Kojima.
Yep.
A few other things I've been playing. I have been dabbling a little bit with Street Fighter V again. I actually downloaded that new character, Akira. She's a lot of fun.
Okay.
I'm meaning to do that to at least get the season pass. I usually wait for it to go on sale. And then...
I didn't get the season pass. I actually earned enough credits to download a character.
Wow, nice.
Impressive.
Yep.
Impressive.
I ever since season 3 came out, I started getting happier with how Street Fighter V turned out. But good God, did it take forever?
Yeah, they had to do more up front, I feel.
Mhm.
If they had waited a year and made it a more media experience, I think it would be much better.
Yeah, I think if they had just included like even just the season 1 characters automatically on, and have just had 3 seasons of post release content, I would have been happier. But it's just like, and a lot of them, it's just where some characters, it's just like, I don't care about you as much as like other characters, and it's great to have new characters in every game, yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't know, the first few release ones seem. The only one I seemed to like was Rashid. That was it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, trying to think of the new characters. You had Nikali, I think it was yeah.
Don't care.
Bang, which was just
That is a walking Chinese stereotype, is what that is.
it really is.
And but I liked some of the new characters, which really what they were just background characters in the plot for other games. Like you might see them come on as part of like a character's winning screen or something. So like Colin, the partner or like secretary to Gil, is she's got all these ice powers now. It's like, oh, that's really kind of cool. And but you took something that existed and made it your own. I really like the character Lucia, because she is actually one of the characters from, I believe, Final Fight 3.
She's the police officer one, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I actually was just playing as her yesterday. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
And Akira, which is from I think Akira's from Rival Schools.
Yep, she's from Rival Schools. Yep.
Tons of fun.
Yeah. I'm honestly surprised they haven't brought more Rival Schools characters in that, as just because I don't think that series has much on its own anymore, but the characters were, I mean, Sakura was in it, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So playing a little bit of that, still playing Guilty Gear Strive, still loving it.
Mm-hmm.
Out of curiosity here, because we haven't gotten a chance to talk about this yet.
Okay.
Have you guys seen the first DLC character for Guilty Gear Strive?
Yes, isn't he like the United States Defense Secretary or something?
The Secretary of Absolute Defense, Goldick Lewison.
Oh, wow.
Wait,
Gold
Lewis Dickinson. No, I'm sorry, Gold Lewis Dickinson. I watch a streamer who always purposely mispronounces it.
Oh my.
Gold Lewis Dickinson.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what Gold Lewis Dickinson is a bunch of people in Japan just sat around a room and like, okay, we need a character that is America. And what I mean by America is every stereotype. Government employee, cowboy, fast food loving, believes in aliens.
Oh wow! It could have been worse too. They could have just gone full on Captain America.
Yeah,
Not America,
Orca. Yeah.
Sure.
It would have just been a dude
Yeah.
with a sleeveless shirt and a beer.
Yeah,
And his
with
opening. Yeah,
with his Confederate flag belt buckle and his NASCAR hat.
yeah. His opening thing would just be, hold my beer.
Yep.
Uh,
Cletus, come here.
and then the last thing I've been dabbling in is I started Hades.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Okay. Tell me about it.
It's fun thus far. I don't know if I get the big draw that everyone else gets into it yet, but it is fun. It reminds me a lot of Enter the Gungeon.
Okay.
It's
Yeah. What's the thing that's supposed to catch you with the loop that
so
keeps you playing?
first off, it always randomizes. It is a roguelike.
Okay.
Okay.
It does have level up mechanics, so there are things like your weapons and your stats that you can actually purchase upgrades. And the characters
Okay.
are fun. Like,
Mhm.
the premise is you are the son of Hades, who is trying to get out of hell.
Okay.
But every time you die, you just float right back up to to Hades' home. You have to go from the beginning again.
Sure.
So like, you go up there and Hades is just sitting at his desk, like, you'll never get out of here, boy. I don't know why you keep trying. You can go pet Cerberus.
Okay.
So there's a lot of little fun stuff like that. The gameplay does feel fun. The weapon I've really enjoyed thus far is the battle shield.
Mhm.
Because
Okay.
it slices, it dices, and then you get a huge ram that does protect you from projectiles.
Does it make julienne fries?
The only thing I wish it did is I really wished it would let you Rygar it.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Cerberus.
So visually, it's great. It just doesn't. I haven't caught what the oh my gosh, I can't believe this game is yet. It is fun.
Mhm.
The thing I was gonna say, that the thing that I've heard about it that intrigues me is that that ability to kind of like carve out your own story. The fact that like when you lose to bosses, supposedly you go talk to them and they'll trash talk you.
Yeah, actually, depending on how you die, there's always a dude at the front. I forget. Like, oh, you died from spikes. Well, maybe the next time you'll remember to not stand on spikes. Just like, I want to kill you. I want to kill you, have you wash up, and let me kill you again. But it is a lot of fun. I would recommend giving it a try. Just don't expect earth shattering with it.
Sure. So you're not one of the folks who would say you're not on. It should have won Game of the Year last year, or actually, it did win Game of the Year from a lot of outlets.
It's one game. I haven't seen what would make it Game of the Year yet.
Okay.
But I do see how it is fun.
Okay.
And this is from a guy who loved Enter the Gungeon. Like I think I put more hours into Enter the Gungeon than Super Mario Odyssey.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's both
talk.
amazing and sad. Super Mario Odyssey is my favorite 3D movie.
No, Super Mario Odyssey is fantastic,
Mm-hmm.
but every run of Enter the Gungeon was unique, different. You always find these little secrets. That was just a fun, great. Hey, I got 15 minutes. I'll probably die, but I'm going to give it a good fun run.
Okay.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and get to our main topic. But before then,
Mm-hmm.
let's have a pause for our sponsors. We don't have any yet, but I want to start putting the pause in there.
Okay.
This episode is brought to you by Syrup Shots Gaming Podcast. Like going to a diner late at night, taking a shot of syrup. It's probably a bad idea, but we're going to do it anyway. If you like this content, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. You know that usual general stuff that people ask you to do. What's that? You want to leave us a review? Fantastic. You can leave a 5-star review, wink, wink, at Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, wherever you get this great content. Thank you for choosing to listen to us, and we look forward to bringing you more dumb content in the future.
Thanks for that riveting ad. Welcome back, everyone.
Thank you to our sponsors for this episode.
Yes, the sponsors that we made up.
Yep.
All right, so let's get into the main topic of the night.
Yes.
Activision done goofed again.
Well, let's be fair. Blizzard is also a big part of this too. So
At this point, Activision and Blizzard are one thing to mind.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Same company. They're all under the same CEO. So
Now, how long has it been since Activision purchased Blizzard and merged it together?
I want to say it was about 15 years ago. Let me see if I can look that up real fast.
Really, 15? But then again, I also realized, I'm going to be 40 in 4 years.
2008.
Oh,
2008. Yeah.
uh,
So yeah, not quite 15, but
yep,
pretty dang close.
yep. Okay.
So just to kind of catch up our listeners if they don't know what the situation is. This all started because the state of California sued Activision Blizzard for hostile work environments, bro mentality, basically for them being D-bags.
Basically sounded like they ran the company as a frat house as opposed to a company.
And to symbolize this more than anything else, they had a hotel room that they would go to called the Cosby Suite.
Yep.
And they tried to brush it off, going, "Oh, that's just in reference to like a sweater loving dad." No, the Cosby stuff is out there. You can't mention Cosby without bro. I can no longer eat Jello pudding pops.
Yeah, I mean, even if Cosby hadn't been, I know it wasn't as public as it was at the time, but there had been rumors for years, and that's why he hadn't been public for a while.
Yeah.
So you knew what you were doing, ding ding.
But it is good to see that Activision is facing repercussions.
Yes.
They have let go some of their heads, including the head of Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They have lost almost all their sponsors for Overwatch League.
No, did not know that. The one I was reading up on actually is that this lawsuit has become pretty much the straw that broke the camel's back for several streamers for World of Warcraft. Now, one of the things, actually, the article I was reading, it was saying that actually they think this might be the nail in the coffin for World of Warcraft because it has been bleeding players for years now, which makes sense. Cannot honestly remember the last big expansion announced yet.
And there are competitors now.
Yes.
You know, supposedly, like Final Fantasy 14's been really like struggling to keep up with the demand. They have that many new users who are playing
Exactly.
their game.
And that was one of the things that the article focused on. It was even saying a lot of these streamers that were very popular for World of Warcraft have now shifted their focus to Final Fantasy 14, and also that is one of the reasons why it has, which is amazing considering the absolute rocky start that game had. So,
Right. Well, isn't it a Realm Reborn? Like Fantasy 4? Yeah. They basically it's
remade
the same
game.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
So let's. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Also, I'm just trying to think of World of Warcraft. There hasn't been an expansion in years. People have said the story has gone off the rails. And then also, they're operating on a graphics system that hasn't really been updated since it launched. That's got to be what?
No, so that it constantly updates with each expansion.
Okay.
To the point where they now have World of Warcraft Classic.
Okay.
Yeah, That was their last big thing that I remember that they were pushing was
Yeah.
Just
was
going
WoW
back to
Classic.
classic.
Yeah.
That's not an upgrade.
No.
It was a nostalgia play.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
You play the nostalgia plays as a placeholder before the next big.
Hmm.
I
So
don't think they
Yeah.
had a next big thing.
Yeah. I guess they were expecting it to print money forever, and it's just like, guys, it's not, it's not 2010 anymore.
right. So this leads to an interesting question. Uh, should you boycott Activision Blizzard? And I would like to read a little snippet from Axios here, where they interviewed some Blizzard employees. I believe they wanted to stay anonymous. But when asked if they should do boycotting, they said it was to do more harm than good. Quote, it's harmful to people who work there who pour their lives into the game and are determined to make Activision Blizzard studios and all game studios, frankly, better places. We can't fix these problems if we're unemployed, and we can't elevate women if we're boycotting all the work they've done and are doing.
Hmm. Yeah, it is kind of a odd balancing act to make these decisions. I got to admit, at the same time, I'm absolutely disgusted by the actions of these individuals, which luckily it sounds like, are getting their comeuppance finally. So,
Mhm.
but I don't want to also punish the people who have put their hard work into things. And then there's other things that I feel are a bit superfluous that are being attacked as well. And I think people sometimes, choose to focus on the wrong thing. For example, one of the big things that has come out that they think they should change in response to all of this is changing the name of the Overwatch character Jesse McCree, because apparently he's named after one of the offenders. Now,
One of the guys that
Ooh,
was
I
just
think
let go.
they
yeah,
just fired him. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I can understand the distaste for the man, of course, but at the same time, uh, I just feel there's also been all of this world building and everything built upon the game that really, what does changing a name do
Uh,
necessarily for this?
and you're kind of hitting on a point that I did want to kind of bring up, at least from my view or perspective. Some of the overreaction,
Hmm.
this is the point. Um, yeah, I mean, we don't want to honor a douchebag, um,
Hmm.
but and we certainly don't have to. And I think there are other ways that they could have, you know, moved McCree to
Hmm.
without necessarily having to change his name. But
Hmm.
Well,
um,
I think his nickname that they could just start referring to as was Mad Dog.
That's
yeah,
not a bad idea.
but
Yeah, yeah.
the with this kind of like overreaction, I don't know. They're certainly going to play all of the right cards. Bobby Kotick loves his money.
Hmm.
And
He
Activision is
got to
one of the
go.
wealthiest video game companies in the world. I mean, with some of their video game franchises, they still currently print money, and
Hmm.
they want to continue printing money. I mean, Call of Duty has been the biggest brand in video games for like a decade at this point. It's insane.
Hmm.
So
To the
I'm
Yeah.
point that to the point that Activision literally makes just Call of Duty right now, not
Hmm.
including Blizzard. They only make Call of Duty.
Hmm.
And I do agree with you, Tyler. I do think that Kotick has to go because at the end of the day, the culture at a company comes from the top.
Hmm.
And there's no one higher than him.
Yep.
100% agree. And he
Hmm.
was one of the ones that really led to that bro culture that led to all of those people taking those senior positions at
Hmm.
Blizzard.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned Activision and Call of Duty. There's another article that popped up today, or yesterday, I'm sorry, on Kotaku that really speaks to they're not owning up to anything. They're just trying to avoid it. The article is by Ian Walker stating Activision named conspicuously absent from Call of Duty Vanguard marketing.
Mm.
So,
That's like a high schooler's attempt at trying to avoid
yeah.
punishment. That was what I thought when they tried to, oh, the Cosby Suite. We referenced that because the couches look like Cosby's old crazy sweaters. Like,
well,
you're not even freaking trying.
well, there's just been so many things that they've done that have just been like, okay, every penny you lose from sponsors right now, you've earned that loss. One of their other employees, is Townsend still at Activision Blizzard? Do you guys know? I think she is. Fran Townsend.
Oh no.
I thought they got rid of her actually.
I hope they did because she let a tweet out saying the problem with whistleblowing.
Oh jeez.
And she was also a torture apologist in the Bush administration.
Oh. Did she worked in the Bush administration?
She worked in the Bush administration.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, so I got another Kotaku, ironically also by Luke Plunkett, where it says here that let's see here. Activision Fran Townsend thought it would be the perfect time to tweet the problem with whistleblowing. To recap, this is the woman who was the wake of EFEH's suit becoming public and sent an email to staff calling it meritless, and was widely criticized. It specifically mentioned as a cause of last week's walkout. So,
yep.
And they're not owning up to like, hey, we done goofed, need to do right by investors. They're just trying to. The higher ups are still trying to just sweep it under the rug. They have to clean house. Honestly,
they think they're wealthy enough they can just sweep it under the rug, but as we know, gamers can be some of the most fervent people, as we've learned from Last of Us 2 conversations.
right?
Some of the absolute worst trolls, and you get on their bad side. That's how EA winning Worst Company of the Year 2 years in a row, things like that.
Man, EA's just got to be sitting there right now going, whew, they took that heat off of us.
Yeah, but at the same time, they also might be, okay, someone check out how the culture is downstairs,
So actually, I looked it up. I don't think that they let go of Fran Townsend. She just she stepped down from certain responsibilities. She's no longer as public facing. So along the same trend of what Activision's trying to do, they're trying to show that they're sorry and that they're making changes without actually really making changes.
Which is depressing. Most of the decisions that Activision has been making in the past couple of years has just been irking me. Hey, we re-released Crash Bandicoot, and the Toys for Bob team that did Crash Bandicoot 4, yeah, we're gonna have them do Call of Duty.
No.
Vicarious Visions, you did a great job on that Tony Hawk 1+2 reboot. You're gonna work on Call of Duty.
Yep.
And
I know. It's really sad and depressing.
And that just goes. I've been sick of Call of Duty for years.
Yeah,
it just feels like it seems like the popularity of certain games goes in waves. And like in the '90s, late '90s, remember how fighting games were all the rage? Starting in '92, and then they slowly ended.
Sure.
Then in like the early 2000s, it seems like it was the rise of the shooters, and then it never stopped. It's just because that's when games started getting really popular at the same time. It's just like, kind of wish we could go back to some of them platformers and fighting games too.
well, I feel fighting games have been making a resurgence.
They have. I'm just saying. I'm sick of the rise of the mega shooter.
Yes, yes.
And there still are platformers. There just aren't as many as there used to be.
But even those, I feel like, have had a small resurgence. You have Yooka-Laylee, which, take it or leave it there. You had the rise of Crash Bandicoot again. You had the new Ratchet and Clank, which is a quasi-platformer. Mario. I feel like there has been some growth in that.
That's just me getting off topic, though. We were here to, complain and moan about the awful things that Activision and Blizzard happened to.
The hammer needs to be dropped.
I was really disappointed also for their decision years ago with Overwatch for loot boxes, which, now that Overwatch has continued for so long, it's still one of the few games that has decided to continue with that mechanic, where a lot of them, after a lot of the, especially after that CEO of Disney calling up EA saying, "What are you doing?" It's just kind of like, clearly we didn't learn from our friends and our peers in this situation, and they've just continued it. And you know, I'm still on the subreddit for Overwatch, and a lot of it are people just, I wish I could just buy skins for characters instead of spending $50 on loot boxes. And then at the end of the time, I'm also thinking, guys, also this is a service game. There is going to unfortunately be a time where it's not going to be around anymore, and you're probably going to wish you had all that cash.
I will bet you dollars to donuts that come Overwatch 2, they're going to migrate over to the season method, battle pass method. Battle pass for 3 months for $15, where you see everything that you'll get, but you have to level up and grind to get those things.
I gotcha. Kind of like the Avengers model right now.
Exactly. Only they will make it where it will be gone if you don't get it in that season and launch that season. So not only will you have to pay them $15, you will have to
play
during that time, and
timed content. Yep.
Which is just kind of going back to something I was talking about earlier. One of the things I'm really liking about Halo Infinite, they're going to have a battle pass, but they have point blank said the battle pass will always be good. All the ones we release, you choose which battle pass you want your experience to go to at any given.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And you can buy old battle passes whenever you want to.
Okie doke.
So
that's pretty good.
Yeah. But I will bet you that they go that route, just because for investors, for the stakeholders, the stockholders, a consistent revenue is much more pleasing to them than a single sale game, or even loot boxes, because those are inconsistent. If you can consistently say every 3 months, I'm going to get $15 for my customers.
I think that's why subscriptions are on the rise.
Yep.
Well, not to be an apologist for pricing there, but I kind of get it. We wanted our games to stay at the $60 price, even though inflation really says they should probably be $250 each now, based on what they used to be. Yeah. So I understand where there's a need for alternate revenue streams. And I like where a lot of them are doing it, where it's cosmetic or things that do not impact the gameplay. Because, like I said earlier, gameplay is the most important thing to how a game feels.
Well, and no one wants to play a multiplayer game with pay-to-win tactics.
Oh,
no.
Nobody
wants
No.
Which, talking about another game that came out, Nintendo has, in my book, screwed the pooch. So they really Pokemon Unite.
Oh, okay. I haven't delved into that at all.
Well, thing number one, Tencent made it.
A MOBA?
Oh gosh.
Oh, that's
one.
Okay.
Tencent
made it. 2, it's a MOBA. 3, you can pay real cash to level up your equipment.
Of course you can.
Is it actually for the Switch or is it for phones?
I think
it's Switch. It's Switch right now. Phone's coming next month.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. It's my little MOBA. It's your intro to the mobile world.
Now, can these Pokemon interact in any way with the other games, or
no?
Okay, good. Well, then at least the main bloodline of Pokemon remains pure.
We won't have any filthy MOBA mudbloods here.
Oh man.
Yes.
Quick time out. Racism bad. Mudbloods was a whole.
Yeah. I don't think they'd mind if we talk about racism in fictional worlds. But getting back to the Activision Blizzard thing, I just also wanted to discuss. You sent me the video of the young lady who at like a World of Warcraft panel or something? Was it World of Warcraft or just in general?
It was at a BlizzCon. It's World of Warcraft,
Yeah.
where she was asking if they would ever consider not making female characters look they came out of a magazine.
Oh yeah, like a Playboy
a,
or something.
a Victoria's Secret catalog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
just, and then at first she started getting cheers from the ladies in the crowd, but then it was drowned out by the trolls, and
Yeah.
the idiots on stage just doubled down on it. Well, what magazine do you want them to look like from? And it's just like if it was me, because I can be a smartass at times, and it's just like I don't know, Woman's Day, because that has more realistic depictions or something. Women come in all sizes and shapes. Shapes. I can't talk today.
Chicken.
I think I had a mild stroke or case of Bell's palsy there. But people just come in all different sizes and shapes. One of the big things I tell my students when we're learning to draw portraits, it's just because there are rules to how to draw stuff, but I just always have to say these are more. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean. The rules are more like guidelines than actual rules because everyone's different, and so. But yeah, we have a long time had a history that every woman in a game has to look like an absolute supermodel, and luckily that seems to be
And bikini armor.
yeah,
right?
bikini armor, yeah, because they only
For
ever
some
get
reason.
shot in 3 places. Yeah, on the body, basically.
I'm a female video game character. Why does my defense go up with the less clothing I have?
It's that invisible force field, sexy, that they don't tell them about. Yes.
The sex aura. Of course.
Sex, yes. The impenetrable sex aura. Plus 32 to defense.
Minus 10 to brain cells.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. So I'm glad we are starting to see, and that actually was one thing that I liked about Overwatch, and it's just kind of like I thought Overwatch was actually kind of moving in that direction. We didn't necessarily have all of these scantily clad women running around. They were all of them were fully clothed, a couple skin tight outfits, but we also had different types and shapes. Like May is kind of the kind of curvy, cute one.
May is Bay. May is Bay.
Then you had Zarya, and it's just like, please don't hurt me, because she is jacked. It looks like she could go against Winston, in an arm wrestling match and probably win,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back a quick second to what we were talking about with the BlizzCon conference where the question was asked.
Mhm. Yeah.
What do you guys think should have been the reaction from the panelists on stage?
Well, absolutely anything but what they did. I don't think I would have started, laughing.
Right.
If it were me, I would have probably, at the time also, again, a few years ago, we didn't really have, we were starting to have these conversations, but we really hadn't gotten very far. So I'm wondering, I can only talk from necessarily my perspective.
Okay, let's change the question slightly. If you were to respond to that today, with what you know today, what would be?
I probably would have cracked a joke about, about the bikini armor situation, actually, and if it were me, I would probably. What they could have even done is just like, well, actually, we're coming out with we're looking at a game actually to address that. We have this new game in the works. We can't say much about it, but we've tried to have our females portrayed of all different races, ethnicities, and body types. And we're also trying. They could have even just said, "And we're going to try and bring that to our future content for World of Warcraft," because we realize also not everyone needs to look like Kerrigan, Queen of Blades from StarCraft. You know.
So I'll take the OG original question.
Mhm.
So the bad thing about it is, even for the time, it was not a politically correct response that they pulled
No.
off. I mean, I know, yes, we are more woke. Things have progressed in some respects these days than back then. But honestly, the fact that they felt bold enough to not even give the like corporate non-answer of "we'll take your feedback into consideration" is
Yeah.
pretty damning. Let's be
Mm.
honest, right? I mean, they made fun of that poor woman, right?
Hmm.
And so my first reaction was I would have addressed the audience. I would have gone, hey guys, let's not boo. You know, they needed to be the leaders in that room. And you go, hey, let's not boo.
Yeah,
This person just wants to
sure.
feel represented, wants to have
Mhm.
better representation in the games. They want to feel our games being
Sure.
more inclusive. We should be bringing
mean-
people in. If you have a larger player base, you got more fun.
Yep.
Sure. She was a customer, right?
Yeah.
And they basically said, you can either keep giving us money or there's the door, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
At the
And-
same time, also, I will say though, I'm not against having games specifically made for certain demographics, but it shouldn't ever be the majority. I mean, there's a reason why Dead or Alive is not taken seriously considered at like Evo tournaments and stuff like that. It's made for a specific crowd, but you know, I'm just also at the same time, but that should never have been the majority opinion for
Oh,
these
never.
things at
Never,
all.
no.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, and I mean, I think it comes from a lack of a lot of things, right? I
Mhm.
mean, video games have been for the longest time very gendered, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's been like a boys thing to do,
Well,
because they were marketed to boys, and
yeah,
then
Adam
after
Ruins Everything did an excellent
they do, it was a
series
good
about that.
show.
It was a good episode on that specifically about gamers, and apparently in the Atari days, it was actually pretty gender neutral how they would advertise
Oh,
it.
I love this fact.
But when Nintendo came pretty much to America and were selling, they were trying to market it more as a toy because the video game crash was still fresh in stores' minds, and they were hesitant to want to put a video game product on the store shelves that was basically going to be worthless in a matter of weeks. So because they had a robot packed in, ultimately they just kind of chose, well, it's more of a boy's toy, and that just stuck for the longest time. I don't even think that's the way it was in Japan with the Famicom. I believe it was also just pretty gender neutral. They were also trying to advertise it as literally the family computer, and there was even games that was basic programming.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just so weird that one small decision back in '84 basically changed
Change
set
the
a
landscape.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. And a lot of it's cascading, right? I mean, there
Mhm.
aren't that many. There are some big name female creators out there, but there aren't that many of them.
Hmm. That's true.
They are a minority.
Hmm.
And if we can make, certainly, if the companies out there, the dev teams out there can make their voices heard and make
Hmm.
their work environment safe places to be. I think that you're going to see better games come out. It betters the industry. It betters the work environment for sure. I mean, it's a real shame that Activision Blizzard is you know they're gonna take the bullet for this one for sure. And honestly, the damage might actually be worse than we think, right?
Hmm.
I mean, we were talking about how World of Warcraft kind of isn't World of Warcraft anymore. People don't. It's not the online MMORPG that it used to be.
Hmm.
People prefer the competitor.
Hmm.
What happens when the next Call of Duty comes out and it's no good, right?
Is that the
I
one
don't
with aliens?
know.
No, that was Ghost
Did
Recon.
I think it?
Okay, because that's actually the
that's
only
right,
one I'm
that's
like,
right.
you know?
Yeah, Ghost Recon Extraction is the one you're thinking.
Okay, but like, wasn't Call of Duty getting all futuristic too at the time? And I'm like, well, if we start fighting aliens, I might be interested.
Yeah, they did it. I haven't even seen the trailer for Vanguard.
I have not yet either. I think it's back in World War.
Oh,
Okay.
of course it is.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that fan base is going to know enough or care enough. Call of Duty is pretty mainstream,
Mhm,
but we were talking about Overwatch before, right?
mhm,
That or Diablo 2 would be the next like Activision Blizzard game that I would consider buying. Certainly
Mhm.
this fall, they're not going to get my money, but they never get my money for Call of Duty. So,
mhm.
Well, Diablo 2 is coming out this fall too.
oh, that's right.
Yep.
Well,
We'll see.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
Again, it's one of those things where I want the heads to roll, but I don't want to hurt those that have already been hurt.
Mhm.
It's a tough spot to be in, honestly.
Mhm.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
We just want Kodak's head on a pike outside the building. Why is that so hard to ask for?
I don't know if the shareholders are going to ask for him to go away unless they start losing money.
Mhm.
Someone needs
Yeah.
to metaphorically Joffrey Kodak. Take that king out.
Sure. I mean, all it would take, I think, is for Call of Duty to come out and not make any money.
Yeah, if a Call of Duty game came out and absolutely floundered, I think he'd be out in a heartbeat.
They
Unfortunately, I don't think that matters anymore. They now have the evergreen Call of Duty game, Warzone.
Warzone, yeah.
Mhm.
However, I don't know. That could be a pretty dang big hit to their.
Yeah, it could,
financial results.
and I hope it does. I hope it's a big hit. They have to, they get new leadership. Then, Toys for Bob, back on Crash, Vicarious Visions, back on Tony Hawk. You get them doing things again, and you let Blizzard take their time. Don't force them into making a mobile Diablo game. I don't want that. I'm pretty sure you guys don't want that. The only mobile Diablo game I want is on my Switch.
Or you mean
Yeah.
the we haven't even mentioned the terrible Warcraft 3 remake that they made.
Isn't okay? Is that the one that also, if anyone still had vanilla Warcraft 3, it like reskinned and did it?
Yep.
No.
That game is a tumor. That game
It's an
is
abomination.
What am I to say? That game is cancer.
Yeah. Yes. Well, guys, before we end for the night, I'd like let's talk about something kind of fun, because this has been a depressing conversation.
Yeah,
I was going through my stuff here, and I found, and I kind of showed this earlier in the podcast here, and I don't know if you guys noticed. Strategy guide for Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3.
Nice.
Complete with old school Tyler writing in the moves for the hidden characters.
Nice. You just told me you had done that on our Mortal Kombat retrospective.
Yep. Honestly, though, cool artwork. They give little bios, little strategies.
Nice.
This was my Bible back in 4th and 5th.
Oh, that's funny. And here I sit around in my new studio that's surrounded by all of my stuff right now. So I guess I can show you some stuff. I was really excited finally because, as you guys know, I had collected the classic Ninja Turtles collection for years, and I've pretty much finally just gotten everything I wanted. I didn't want everything because there's how many versions of the Turtles that are really stupid. So like even as a kid, I saw Turtle Trolls and I was like, that is the stupidest thing I have ever seen. But So I have all that I want, but I always, for the longest time, when I was really little and first getting into cartoons and stuff, my two big ones were Ninja Turtles and the real Ghostbusters. And
Okay.
I had sold all the Ninja Turtles and the real Ghostbusters at a garage sale years ago, but for some reason, I don't know how it managed to dodge this. My Ghostbusters Firehouse playset and Ecto 1 were not sold in that yard sale. And it had been down in my parents' basement ever since. And
You got lucky there.
yeah, and I had always, when I started collecting more of like the older 80s toys that, I really enjoyed, I always would come back to the Ghostbusters because I loved those classic late 80s, early 90s kind of grunge aesthetic that a lot of those toys had. I mean, the Ninja Turtles, they had so much sculpted weird details on them. Like General Trag up there, if you like flip the figure around, you'll notice there's like a centipede and a newt and other things just like on his rocky body that are just molded in there. I loved that. I still do. So, but now that the studio is complete, I had a blank shelf that could
Okay.
fit the Ghostbuster Firehouse on top. And I got it out of my parents' basement. It had been down there for at least 30 years. It had everything. It was complete. I had to find a few things, but I was able to find it in with other things stored. It was disgusting. I cleaned it up, but I've now slowly been putting back together that collection. So today I went to a local shop that sells vintage toys, and I picked up some of the lovely haunted humans because we can't say possessed or anything with the Ghostbusters cartoon. So I now have mail fraud. So lowly mailman, blamp, not anymore. And I also have um, I don't know if this one had a name. It was just like a box that came with like a haunted vehicle, and this was the motorcycle guy, and you pull it out. And now he's got the crazy like body and everything, and
Okay.
and the motorcycle is also a ghost.
Of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, yes. So I love these like wacky aesthetics, and with all the
Who are you gonna
details
call?
more. Yeah. So I'm very happy to put that up. And it was kind of exciting. I was able to find like, wait, I had that one, like the football player who suddenly becomes a monster quite literally out of his ass,
Yep.
So I had fun today.
Now, I was going to ask you, Dave, because you've
Mhm.
gotten back into Ghostbusters here, and
Yeah.
obviously you're a huge Transformers collector.
Yes.
Are you going to get Ectotron?
I that is one thing though. I know that some of these Transformers crossovers exist, but it's one of those things I'm like, that is falling into my brain category of that's stupid, So I have not gotten Ectotron. I have not gotten Gigawatt, which is the Back to the
DeLorean.
Future. Yeah, the DeLorean. And also the only one I've been tempted is they now have announced the Jurassic Park one. And so they have recolored the new release of Beast Megatron to be the Tyrannosaur from Jurassic Park, and then a different vehicle has been retooled into the classic green Jeep. So I will
Okay.
admit, though, I was just kind of like, they gave a new head sculpt to the. I forget what they've named but to Beast Megatron, and I was just kind of like that.
Is that T-Rex?
No, I have T-Rex though.
How? Oh, so isn't T-Rex just a color swap of Megatron as well?
Yes, hold on. I got him right. He's right over here.
I feel like we need to do a Dave's action figure show.
Yep, he's quite literally a color palette. He's the second player good guy version of Megs.
Okay.
Actually, give me 2 seconds here. I'll be right back.
No problem. But he is actually from. I think originally they had planned to make him like a convention exclusive. Well, okay, wait. Let me take a step back. He had been, Hasbro. They do a ton of recolor re-releases that are new characters, and it was one of those times where it's just I don't think they had a lot coming out at the time, so they just released a subline of Transformers dinosaurs, and they just re-released a bunch of the dinosaur figures in different colors as different characters. But then the official convention got a hold of T-Rex and then made him kind of a character in their convention exclusive comic books, and so now he's like also like a partner of the Autobot DevCon, and who's another character that appeared like only once in the original cartoon, who I also have a figure of. Transformers is my Star Wars, basically.
So
Whoa.
in the
Yep.
same box, I had found the Ultimate Mortal Kombat guide,
Yes. Nice.
OG Megatron Beast
OG.
Wars,
Yep.
and
Very nice.
missing several parts
Oh, Primal. Nice.
with one sword, but missing the
very
things to
cool.
actually keep the back cannons down.
Unfortunately, I don't have them out, but I do have still the Magnum boss that Chris gave me years ago as a birthday gift. So I'm trying to find space for some of the OG Beast Wars stuff, but unfortunately, other stuff kind of took priority because I love collecting the kind of the classics lines where they really just update the original G1 characters, but with modern engineering and technology. So, they really are what they were supposed to be. They transform and are the action figures that literally you pulled the characters off the screen, and I love that. So,
Yeah, kind of like this is to an excessive degree, but like the Masterpiece series.
oh yeah, and even then they keep updating the masterpiece figures. They are now on a version 2 of Starscream. Wait. Version 3 actually, because they changed Starscream. Yep.
Very nice. Very nice. I still need to find that crown.
Oh no! If all else fails, I can 3D print you one. I know where the files are.
Beautiful.
There you go.
All right. Yep.
Well, guys, I think that has been a successful podcast.
Yeah.
We appreciate your patronage. Thank you for listening. Please like, comment, subscribe, ask us questions. We'll read them on the air. I promise. And spread the word. Next time, game on.
Game on.
Game on.